Oh man, hello. Honest, honest to, honest to speak about why people like to let other people influence them, bro. You know, we live in a modern age where there's social media, right? So it is easy to see things and be impressed and wish that you had them, but then imagine if we lived in a world where everyone could just create from their own will, you know? Because as much as being inspired from things like social media is great, we also have to understand the bad side, you know? Because watching it, you might feel like, yeah, man, cool, calm. I want to get inspired on. And then forget that these people are not tapping you in to um, all the downs, you know? So you tapped in from a perspective and they telling you that you need to do this, don't do this, but then the people that you seeing are fighting their own demons, you know. So you need to be in a place where you're so confident and only take the good from social media and other influences and be bold to ask where they might have been wrong so that you don't make the same mistakes, you know. Because I see it as foolish to be out there wanting other people's lives when when you can have your own, you know. Why do I say this? I say this because you don't understand. Because sometimes you need to understand the depth of the saying, be careful what you wish for, right? Because imagine wishing for someone's life and it's all rented and you're fighting demons and then you get the bad sides of like depression and anxiety. Imagine doing that to yourself. So sometimes you need to be able to only be inspired up to a certain level, you know, because it is wrong. I see it as wrong to just wish without consideration, you know, or just like blindly wishing for other people's lives, you know. I'll make an example. You scroll, you see popular people who have private jets and big bodies, and you're like, oh my god, I wish, I was that guy. But then the universe grants it in a way that you like, because you need to understand where your mind is, right? And I mean this in a way it would seem when you ask for certain things, right? You need to like be in depth of what you're asking for, because you might be in a journey, right, where you're seeking traits that are mental and psychological, right? And imagine being in that journey of constantly trying to get traits that are mental and psychological, and then you see that, and then you wish, right? And then the universe guides you into traits that are mental and psychological of that person, of that individual, and they all just the opposite of your true nature, you know. Just imagine that. Oh man. So you need to be specific, you know. Like that's why I recommend people that like understanding is very important, man. Understanding is very important. So you need to find ways to delve deep and seek actual understanding of the small words, you know, like the minute you understand the word entirely, its meaning, right? Because curious and curiosity, questioning, and seeking are not the same word. As much as you can place them along the same sentence and someone would still understand what you're trying to put out there, they're not the same word. So understanding that word, right, the base of the word, understanding it, oh my god, that sets you, that just sets you different already. You get on a track, where you're now functioning from a standpoint of understanding, meaning that it is, you are able to make better wishes based on understanding. Imagine, man. Why I started this visual, like I just been thinking about what do people usually get wrong, you know. And I think the basis of that is understanding what they truly want, because it could be like being in two different journeys at the same time leads to confusion eventually, because when you're not looking at social media, when you're not looking at social media and you're by yourself, you are literally in a different mindset, right? That is not driven by dopamine and adrenaline and all those other things, you know. So when you get on a different mindset and frequency that has you sometimes, because it depends on what you're looking at, right? Based, like imagine getting on the mindset of wishful thinking, right? They're in two different ways, but like in the same day. Do you get me? Like earlier today, you could be just praying for wisdom, right? And then during the course of that day, you see a social media, and then you kind of, since you were on a path of trying to get wisdom, let's just say that, whatever wisdom is, and then look at social media, and then you stumble upon things like the awakening of chakras, you know, and now you tap into that, because in a sense that is knowledge, you know. So I want us to understand our brains and kind of analyze where we are, so that we can make better decisions when it comes to wishful this is important because you know your heart. And sometimes you might get confused and be in the moment, right? So it is important that when you are in that moment, you're able to recall and go back, That is very important. Forgive me, I'm a bit bothered by this case, Like, I need you to understand the depth of what I'm saying, because as much as you might not want to admit that confusion might come, you need to be able to understand it, like, be in the moment as much as possible and understand what it is that you're doing, right? Because sometimes sometimes ambition is like the necessary drive, there's a necessary drive for you to accomplish, right? While you understand that now this is a point of ambition, then you need to be in a place where you're calm about it so that you don't make mistakes, right? Even if you do make mistakes, you need to be in a place where, as long as you're present in that moment and are aware of what you're doing, and you make that mistake, it is then quicker for you to see it before you put scale to it, You need to be able to do that before causing damage. Because imagine being in two different mindsets during the course of the day, and then you lose values during that course. That is very important to keep in mind and remember, man, because it is very easy to make mistakes. I need us to be in a place where we willingly choose our choices, like taking accountability for the choices that we make, and it is important, like, even if you are choosing to make those mistakes, but then it shouldn't be from a mindset where you are just gaslighting yourself or losing track of your belief system, or like it needs to be, like, even if you know that you're about to do this wrong thing, you need to be in a place where you decide yourself the extent of which you're going to do it and continue, and then from that be able to be at peace with it afterwards, because peace, man, like being at peace, you get peace by understanding, excuse me, you get peace by understanding each step and each decision, and then understanding the course of what happened in that moment, understand things